Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today we are talking about all of the events from Monday, June 14th, 2021. It felt really slow kind of day. I think that's just because the craziness of the weekend. So a lot of the countries that had a lot of weekend events had nothing today. It was a very light day for a lot of those countries, but not for all of them. So we're just gonna get started with the things that happened. And we'll of course start with the Euro Cup because that's what I said I would do. Although today it was one event and I could theoretically put it in with the Spain thing, but I'm not going to because I have a lot to say about it and I don't want to take up Spain's segment. So that's what we are going to start with today. Is the European, it's the UEFA, so European Union Football Association or something, and it's their cup, their football, soccer cup, whatever country you live in, whatever you call it. I live in the States, so we do call it soccer. I am trying to adjust because I think it's dumb that we refuse to call it European football or we have decided to create our own version of football. I think it's stupid. So I try and call it football. I don't always, but I try. And so today King Felipe was present at the Spain-Sweden game, obviously to support Spain. And because Spain is one of the, it's holding one of the, there's a stadium in Seville that is holding the matches. So our games, I still don't know what they're called. I've called them both and I've seen them called both, so I don't know what is right. So King Felipe was there. This was an interesting game. It's the first draw of the tournament, apparently. And so it was 0-0. Except it was really entertaining to watch. You guys, I think I'm converting. I think I'm becoming a soccer/football fan. Not a soccer fan, because I don't care about American soccer. It's stupid. But I can get behind national, World Cups and Euro Cups and things like that. I can definitely do that. I was, super into this game. So, that is my new life. No, it is not. But I do now have a subscription so I can watch all of the games with good angles. So I have a subscription that I now can use ESPN with for the month. The tournament is over in a month. So I will keep it through then. And yeah, thank goodness. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. So I'm now converting to being a football fan. I was very into this game, but I think, I've watched a few of them, and this is the first one that I, genuinely was into, so I think that probably has something to do with, me rooting for Spain, unequivocally. I would like to be in Spain. I would like to be a Spaniard 90% of my life, so maybe that's why. So anyway, that is the update on the Euro Cup. It is going to be kind of quiet on that front for a couple days now, as this was the last match between any of the monarchies. So the next time we'll see anything, I think, is on Thursday. So that will come in a few days. Or maybe, yeah, I think it's on Thursday. So anyway, that is where that is at right now. And so now we're going to jump into normal everyday things and start with the Belgian royal family. Before we get too far in, I want to thank you if you're watching on YouTube. Today is just a logo day. There was one video that I could have pulled, so we're keeping things chill. If you're listening to the podcast version, awesome, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here too. But I'm getting some new viewership on YouTube, so I just wanted to thank everyone over there. And if you are listening on the podcast, go ahead and check out the YouTube. Sometimes, not today, but sometimes I put up like clips of the events we're talking about, because I think that's fun. And, but not today. There's only one video that I can really use for that, so I'm not gonna mess with it for just one video. That'll be kind of another like 3 or more rule. So anyway, we are gonna jump in with the Belgian royal family now. There were 2 different events today in Belgium. I expect I know there's a lot tomorrow. So today, King Felipe held an audience with 2 representatives from the Belgian Liberal Party, which is celebrating its creation 175 years ago, which is pretty new into the world of Belgium. So like Belgium's constitution or founding was in 1830, which is 100 and hold on, what is that? It's like 180 some years, 181 years maybe. So 175 is pretty new into that, which is of course wonderful. Oh, it's 191. I can count. Anyway, so 191 years, but then 175 years of a liberal party, to create some excitement in the parliament and such. You know, add some differing voices. So that is kind of cool. And that's what was going on for King Felipe. And then also today, Queen Mathilde took part in a virtual conference focused on mental health in Africa, specifically in French-speaking Africa. And so it was a partnership discussion with organizations in Belgium that are focused on mental health, as well as organizations and experts in French-speaking parts of Africa, to have like an open dialogue about mental health and mental health challenges, and also solution finding, things like that. So that was really cool, and of course like a super important event, and really focused in Mathilde's like in her areas of expertise, the areas she focuses in the most. And so I thought that was really awesome. And of course, for those who don't know, tomorrow, I don't think I'm going to lose my mind as much as I did over the weekend with the G7, but I might. Tomorrow, King Felipe is meeting with a lot of foreign leaders who are in Brussels right now. So today was the NATO summit, so the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, something. And then tomorrow is an EU summit, but in that, King Felipe is meeting with quite a few global leaders tomorrow. I know on the agenda is President Biden, so that's, for me, very exciting. And then I think like Justin Trudeau and maybe a couple of others. So that is all coming down the pike tomorrow, which I am very excited about. But that's what was going on in Belgium. I'm going to take a quick peek at the court circular now to see if there was anything today. There was not. So we are going to jump now. We are going all the way to the Netherlands, because there was nothing going on in the UK and nothing going on in Denmark. So let's go now to the Dutch royal family. Netherlands today, there was one event. I'm gonna check online to make sure that there was just one event while we're chit-chatting. While I'm chit-chatting, you guys are not talking back. But I sometimes act like we're just having a conversation and I'm monopolizing the conversation, but like, that's what I do sometimes anyway. So today, Queen Maxima took part in a symposium for an organization called MoneyWise that she is the honorary chair of. And this is a organization within the like Ministry of Finance, like the Treasury or whatever the Netherlands calls it, to help promote financial fitness throughout the country. So it's really cool, and like their website, there are lots of different things that you can do to like get your finances in order. I can't find the site just by searching it. That's okay. But I was on it earlier, and it talks about different kinds of calculators and like different resources available to Dutch people to really get their financial house in order, which is of course like a super helpful tool that I think is awesome. Like the more I'm learning about the way the Netherlands is kind of functioning around this like financial idea. So the Netherlands is a very it's kind of an anomaly in the EU in that at least of the monarchies we talk about, let me put it that way, they have a lot of money. Like the Dutch Reserve or whatever it's called has a lot of money, and they want their people, so the Dutch people, to be able to experience this like perk of living in a country that is abundantly wealthy with like their GDP. But the Netherlands also then on the flip side of that coin has like a growing debt problem and like a growing financial challenge to the individual. So they've taken it upon themselves to kind of create this harmonious thing where like the end goal is for people to be doing as well as the country, which is an awesome and admirable goal. I think it's amazing. And so they're doing lots of things like this. Like Queen Maxima has really taken on debt education and like debt-free Netherlands, and like it's focused on small businesses and people and you know, just very much ingrained in this whole like the Netherlands is rich culture, which is sometimes super perceived super negatively by people in other European countries, but also by like Dutch people in terms of the way they look at other countries. It's kind of interesting. I try not to learn too much about European politics because to me Europe is like this, it's not a nirvana, but it's like this world where horrible, terrible things don't happen as intensely as they do here. It's not true, but I like to pretend it is, and so I don't let myself kind of learn about all the drama, but I noticed that a lot in terms of like COVID crisis and like the way the EU was spending the money they had to help in this crisis. The Dutch people and the just people in the Netherlands in general, governments and people, citizens alike, were just really bent out of shape about like their money going to help Spain and Italy, which were the two European countries that like struggled the most with COVID, and it was just like really ugly to watch kind of play out online. I was horrified by it. Because I'm of the mindset, like, help your neighbor, help the world. Like, I don't care if it's a literal country neighbor or not, like, help the world, we're going through something, was my whole take on that. And so anyway, this MoneyWise is a platform for the Dutch government to continue to help educate people on financial issues, and I think it's awesome. The politics behind it are messy, but like all politics are. So that is what was going on in the Netherlands, and now we are jumping to Spain. So there was nothing going on today in Norway, although tomorrow we get the very first regional visit from King Harald and Queen Sonja since I started this podcast, and I can't wait. So that's what's going on tomorrow in Norway, but for now we are going to jump over to Spain. Today, King Felipe and Queen Letizia had one event aside from the football game match thing that I have already talked about. So today, King Felipe was awarded the very first Medal of Honor from the Andalusian government, which was created in November of 2020 to honor people who have served the city and are important figures, and it's similar to like a key to the city. It's just a way to honor very specifically like people who have contributed beyond measure to Andalusia, but it's awesome. So they created this in November. I think it was officially signed into a decreed thing in December, and it was announced a couple of weeks ago that the very first recipient would be King Felipe. So today was that ceremony, and it's a really big deal, obviously. Also, just again, political things going on in Spain. I'm glad it was today, because Spain is really interesting in that it's 17 autonomous communities, and each of them are very different politically and everything. But Andalusia and Seville, which is I think where they were, it's the biggest city, the capital of the autonomous community, is very traditional, very pro-monarchy, which is great. In this instance, they're allowed to think whatever they want, but for this instance, it was lovely. And so anytime that King Felipe or anyone from the royal family goes to Seville or goes to Andalusia, it's you can just count on the people to be there, and also kind of vice versa. I have found in doing this for a year, and granted a lot of it was pandemic, but the King Felipe and Queen Letizia seem to genuinely enjoy being in Andalusia. I mean, I don't know how you can't. It's sunny and beautiful and on the water and amazing. So I don't know how you can't enjoy being there. It has so much different things to offer. But they genuinely seem to enjoy it. And so this award for King Felipe makes a lot of sense to me. Also just in general, the political sphere, of course, this is who the Andalusian government picks first, just to stand by this commitment to the crown and to, and not just the crown, but King Felipe specifically, and presumably the Princess of Asturias as the monarchy. And so in his speech, the president of the autonomous community talked a lot about King Felipe's commitment to a lot of things, including transparency and the Constitution, and preserving the culture of Spain as it was allowing the culture of Spain to come back, I guess is the way I want to say that, because for so many years Spain was kind of forced into being one country without separate identities in these autonomous communities, and so like it wasn't treated like autonomous community by autonomous community wasn't treated differently, and King Felipe does. It's very much autonomous community by community. Here's the things that we're gonna do. Here's the things that we talk about, and really just engaging in like cultural traditions from those areas, in different ways. So I thought that was awesome. Also, like, it was just fun. I think that's the whole thing, right? Like, the past year has been challenging, to say the least. And so, like, as more and more countries are coming into this new normal, and experiencing things, like this is a really fun, like, hey, we're almost back to normal kind of thing. I'm now getting to the point, though, you guys, the realization, so this is like, okay, I'm done talking about today. So tomorrow, Spain is hosting a state visit from Korea, like tomorrow and Wednesday. And it's just dawning on me that, like, we're probably going to see gala dress, tiara, and face mask. And my heart is a little broken. Like, please be safe. Do all the things. Abide by all the laws of the land wherever you live. But dang it. My heart is breaking, because it just dawned on me that it's like, we're going to get all the good stuff. Like, we will. It'll be lovely. But we are also going to get a face mask with gala dresses. And, like, I genuinely cannot wait for tomorrow. Believe me. But I'm like, oh, that's right. Face mask. Like, okay. Spain, could you, if it's safe to do so, could you remove the face mask requirement? Maybe for just people who are vaccinated. She's not vaccinated. He's not fully vaccinated either, but still, please? Anyway, okay. So that is what was going on in Spain today, and a little peek at tomorrow. And so with that, we are going to go ahead now and finish up this episode by talking about the daily events for the Swedish royal family. In Sweden, there were actually a good few events, and I can talk about almost all of them, which is thrilling. So first, King Carl Gustaf held a meeting with the president of Switzerland, who was on an official visit to Sweden, and so he, of course, as is kind of standard, was able to hold a meeting with the king just to have that meet and greet. So that was first. And then also today, King Carl Gustaf and Crown Princess Victoria took part in a couple of different things. So first, they were present for a council meeting. So I think Sweden calls them like an information council, but it's very similar to a council of state or a like cabinet meeting, whatever you can think of, where like all the cabinet gets together and discusses current, current events in their ministry and things like that. So, they presided over that today. And these happen like every 3 to 4 months. I do think this is the first one, the first full-ish one in 2021. There was a very small one held, with most participation being held digitally. When Prince Carl Philip's youngest son was born, there was still an information council for that one. But it wasn't full. I think it was just maybe the Prime Minister and one other person in the room with King Carl Gustaf. And so it is pretty normal now to have Crown Princess Victoria attend these as well. She's not at every single one, but she is at most of them. And so they both did that today, and it was lovely. As Sweden is kind of, again, returning to normal with the rest of the world. So I don't know, it was really great. I appreciated it. And then finally today, I don't know if this was after or before, but anyway, King Carl Gustaf and Crown Princess Victoria also met with the chief of the National Police, I think is his title. Let me confirm that. The chief of the National Police for Sweden to discuss who knows what. This one is the one thing I can't talk about because they just didn't share any information on it, so I'm not sure what happened at that meeting. But that is okay. So that is what was going on today. A little bit, actually, it's a pretty normal length episode, but given that yesterday's was almost an hour, 30 minutes is lovely. So with that, I am going to end today's episode. I am, I think, completely caught up everywhere from all of the photos and events over the weekend, which is great. So I will be, of course, updating all of that stuff as soon as I'm done recording here. And again, check out thedailyroyal.com, The Daily Royal on Instagram, the Daily Royal or Daily Royal podcast on YouTube. I couldn't get the Daily Royal. I might see if I can change that, but I think I claimed Daily Royal podcast before I officially changed the name of the website and Instagram and stuff. So we'll see if I can get that changed around. But anyway, that is where we are at today. So I will talk to you all tomorrow for our very first during a pandemic state visit. Technically it's our second, but it's our first incoming one. So with that, I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Bye.